So, today is Friday the 13th, and with it being Friday the 13th and all that, I thought, why not make another ranking video? I've made 2 ranking videos in the past. I've done one on the Scream franchise, and then I did one on the Halloween franchise. And I had a real fun time doing those, so I'm back after, 2 years? Has it been 1 year or 2 years? I can't tell. But I'm back to do another one. So today I'm going to be doing the Friday the 13th franchise, excluding Freddy vs. Jason, because I do not see Freddy vs. Jason as a Friday the 13th film. I see it more of a Nightmare on Elm Street film, but that's just me. So without further ado, let's get into 11? Yeah, 11 Friday films. Right. So, with this tier list, there is S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier. S being the best, D being the worst. So with that being said, let's get into this ranking. To start off, we're going to be looking at Friday the 13th Part 1. Now, Part 1 is what started the franchise. However, I am not the biggest fan of it. I feel like Part 1 is a good film, but if it was the only film in the franchise, it would be this sort of like, you know, I'd have higher standards for it. Like, I'd have a higher praise for Part 1 if Part 1 was the only film ever made and there wasn't 10 more sequels. But there wasn't, and Part 2 came out. Part 1 is a great film, and I really do like the twist at the end with it being Jason's mother, but I just really don't like some of the aspects of it. I feel like Part 2 basically gives us a recap of Part 1, and there's no Jason in Part 1, unless you're counting the little boy at the end, little Jason. But I don't count that, and I really like Jason a lot more than Mrs. Voorhees, so getting to see him shine in his first film, which is Part 2, is a lot better than just watching Part 1, because I don't need to watch Part 1 to watch Part 2, in my opinion. So with that, I'm putting Part 1 into C tier. It just doesn't hit it for me. Next on the list is Part 2. And seeing how I just praised Part 2 better than Part 1, you're right, I love Part 2. Part 2 for me is actually going into S tier. It's such a good film because it basically takes Part 1 and does it better. Everything's a lot better in this one. Don't get me wrong, Part 1 had some great moments. You know, Kevin Bacon's death scene in that film is iconic, especially with the spear through the neck. But Part 2 is just far better. I just really like Part 2. So yeah, Friday the 13th Part 2 is going into S tier. Next up on the list is Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D. Part 3 is a weird one, because it basically does the same as Part 2, but it just adds a few things. I mean, one, it's in 3D. The annoying 3D effects, the shot of the guy with the yo-yo, bringing it close to the camera, you know. Jason gets his hockey mask in this film. That's the biggest takeaway from Part 3. He gets his iconic hockey mask. And that is something that makes the film stand out. But at the same time, it's just the same as Part 2. With the shittier cast. I don't like the whole backstory thing with the main character. I don't like that whole, like, oh, Jason assaulted me sort of in the past sort of thing. It just dampens the whole thing. So I was like, eh. The characters were decent. Some of the acting is questionable. But overall, it's not a terrible film. It's not a great Friday the 13th film. I wouldn't put it in my top 3. But it's not a terrible film either. So, you know, with that, I'm going to put it into B tier. It's just mid. It's better than the first, not as good as the second, and Jason gets his mask. Here's where things get interesting. I love Part 4. Part 4 should be in my top 3. I did do a video ranking my top 3 favorite Friday films, so you can go check that out if you want. Shameless plug. But no, I really like Part 4. Part 4 to me is the start of the Tommy Jarvis trilogy, which is 4, 5, and 6. And I love Corey Feldman as an actor. The fact he was in this film, brilliant. Part 4 for me basically amps up the stakes of Part 3. Jason's still got his mask. He's more brutal than ever. The characters and acting is, you know, on par with like Part 2. You know, they're all likable, especially the Jarvis family. They're all likable and stuff like that. It's just one of them Friday films that hits real hard. Especially Jason's death at the end. The fact they actually killed off the character makes this film, like, that much better. I'm sorry, but part 4 has to go in S tier. Part 5 to me stands out, kind of like Halloween 3. Because a lot of people are 50-50 on it. It doesn't do anything like Halloween 3 does, where it's a full-on anthology. I love Halloween 3, by the way. Part 5 just has a copycat killer. Spoiler alert. No, Friday the 13th Part 5 has a copycat killer. And it's like, you know, it continues Tommy Jarvis's story with him being a teenager now. And I really like that. But other than that, it's not much different from the other films. It's pretty much just a copycat killer wearing a similar mask, going around murdering people, and the killer turns out to be a paramedic called Roy, and basically his son got killed at the mental place or the institution, whatever, and so he goes on a mayhem killing spree of revenge. So it's like, you know, it's a Friday film mixed with Scream. The only other good character in this film is Reggie the Reckless, and I stand by that character. He is a badass. So with all that, I'm actually going to put this film in A tier. And I know people are thinking, A tier? That, like, for the copycat killer, really? I just really like this film. It's got its problems. It's boring at some points, but it's got some real good kills in it. It's got some real good effects. The soundtrack's really good. And there's also that dope-ass song in that scene where the chick is like dancing in her room. That's a really good song. Yeah, I'm gonna put Friday the 13th Part 5 into A tier, just because I like it and it has like a soft spot in my heart. Next up on the list is Friday the 13th Part 6. Part 6 is a real fun film, and it's going in S tier straight away. Friday the 13th Part 6 has this sort of like completion of story. And I said it earlier, the trilogy of Tommy Jarvis, 4, 5, 6, this caps it off perfectly. Like, Tommy Jarvis in this film actually has a purpose. It's like to make sure that Jason's dead and gone. And then he ends up fucking it up and bringing him back to life. And Zombie Jason is a menace. An absolute menace. On top of that, you also have likable characters. Overall, Part 6 is a real fun film, and it has a good story, likable characters, a good cast. The soundtrack, again, is great. There's not as much gore in this one as the other ones have, but it's still really good. And on top of that, Alice Cooper does a song, like 1 or 2 songs in it, and it's brilliant. There's a song that Alice Cooper made for this film. It's S tier. Like, you can't argue it. Part 7 is an interesting one because it's basically just Jason versus Carrie. And although I like that idea, and this film introduces Kane Hodder, who is, you know, probably the most recognizable stunt actor or actor in general to play Jason. I actually met him last year at Comic-Con, and it was like, it was so surreal. Yeah, so I was, oh! I got his autograph, I took a picture of it. It's brilliant. I absolutely loved it. This is where the franchise starts to take off and get a bit weirder. And like I said, Jason versus Carrie sort of thing. It's fun to watch. But Part 7, other than Kane Hodder being introduced as Jason and being a badass Jason, and the whole stunts and all that, the characters are mid, story's like, meh. The kills are good though. So yeah. So with all that in mind, I'm actually going to put Friday the 13th Part 7 to B tier. It's like, it's not C tier, it's not like crap. It's not A tier, it's not great. It's sort of mid. It's in the middle. Like, it's got some cool action, cool stunts, and other than that, it's just a bit mid. But it's still a cool film because Kane Hodder's in it. So it's going into B tier. Jason Takes Manhattan. This film is not that great. Not at all. It's mid. It's below mid. And here's why. Jason on a boat. It's supposed to be Jason in New York, but it's not Jason in New York. It's like 50 minutes of it is on a boat, and it's like the biggest waste of time of my life. On top of that, I don't like the story thing they did with like the girl's scared of drowning thing and her father's a dick and all that. Like, it's just, meh. If you're watching it and trying to be serious with it, or you're just watching it for a fun time, it's not that fun. But yeah, with all that in mind, it's just a mid film, below mid, so I'm going to put it in C tier. What's worse than Takes Manhattan is Jason Goes to Hell. This film can go to hell. I'm putting this in D tier. I won't talk about it for long because I can rant about it for ages. Kind of like how I can rant that Cedar Chucky is a piece of shit. But basically, it's just not very well done. I don't like it very much at all. It sort of makes you think that Jason's going to be in the film at the beginning, and Jason actually looks really cool. And his design looks so like sick with the burnt mask on his face, and then they kill him off, and then he's just like a paranormal demon that enters people, and it's just stupid, and I don't like it, and it doesn't add to it. Why would they introduce that there when it's not been in any of the other films? We don't need it. We don't need it. D tier. It's stupid. I think everyone here will agree. Jason Goes to Hell is shit. But going back up to C tier now, I'm going to put Jason X, Jason in Space, in C tier. Jason X, or Jason in Space, is a really fun film if you just want to switch off. It's like, it's more fun than Part 8, it's more fun than Part 9, way more fun than Part 9. And it's basically just Jason in space on a spaceship, wreaking havoc. And Space Jason, or Uber Jason, the design of that is amazing. So there's a lot of fun moments with this film. You're definitely not there for the characters. You're definitely not there for any of the story. You're only there for the action and the scenery and to have a laugh. And I have to give him credit for having balls to try and do something unique. This takes us to our final ranking, which is the remake, Friday the 13th, 2009. This film is arguably one of my favorite remakes, and I think a lot of people agree. The remake is just really well done. It's unlike a lot of the other horror remakes. There were some good ones, like Rob Zombie's Halloween, I like that. And then there was some shit ones, like the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, which I don't think is that great. But this film is a really good remake. It basically gives you 3 films in one. It gives you the beginning part, which is part 1, and then you get part 2 because Jason's got his hood, and then he gets the hockey mask as well. And Jason in this film is a brute. He is a gigantic brute, and he's like menacing. She has a really nice flow to it, and although the story is on par with like part 2, 3, and 4, with it just being some like people in a cabin, it's still a really fun film, and it reinvents Jason in a scary way. Like, this guy has like got a tactical side to him now. He's scary as fuck. So yeah, that's all my rankings for this. I tried to be as fair as possible, but at the same time, this is my own ranking. If you don't like it, go on Tiermaker and make your own. I don't know. Please comment below what your favourite Friday film is. Mine are clearly the ones in S tier, so part 2, 4, and 6. They're just amazing to me. But yeah, hope you all have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye!